Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know the drill by now.
You bring the sources, the articles, the notes, all that research.
And we bring the distillation. We're here to give you that ultimate shortcut to being well-informed on the knowledge you need right now.
Today, our focus is incredibly practical, but it's also profoundly strategic.
It really is.
We're tackling a high-value skill that honestly impacts professional perception around the world.
And what is that?
Mastering the English, you need to discuss your daily routine and your digital life with authority.
Exactly. The sources you all shared kept pointing this out. Most professionals learn basic, functional English, but they hit a ceiling. They struggle when they try to sound credible, precise, and really competent.
Right. So our mission here isn't just about expanding your vocabulary.
No.
It's an upgrade. We want to take your speech from just sort of reporting what you do
to signaling that you have absolute control over your time and your technology.
It's about replacing those generic, weak verbs and vague descriptions with active, specific language.
Think of it as a professional polish. It just elevates your entire presence.
It really does.
And we don't have to wait to see this in action. The sources, they start right away by highlighting this idea of micro-precision.
Even in the most basic morning acts.
Yes. So let's start with that classic example. Why did the research call out the subtle but critical difference between saying, I woke up and I got up?
Because it completely sets the tone for the entire professional narrative.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. Waking up is passive. It's just when your sleep state ends. It happens to you.
Right.
But getting up, that's an active choice. It's volitional. You are deciding to exit the bed and start your day.
So that little distinction signals intentionality.
Precisely. A professional who uses the latter is implying control over their schedule, even in those first few moments.
That immediately reframes the whole conversation.
Yeah.
It's not a report anymore. It's a strategic narrative.
Exactly.
So let's dive into segment 1, the architecture of the day. This section is all about replacing those weak verbs and standard time markers with professional precision.
Okay, so when you're discussing that preparatory phase in the morning, you need to ditch the generic verbs.
Like what?
So instead of saying, I make myself presentable, use the high-value phrase, to freshen up.
To freshen up.
Yeah. It's concise, it's professional, and it implies a quick, efficient preparation.
And this extends right into the fuel for the day, right?
Yeah.
The coffee or tea.
Absolutely. The sources strongly favored the verb to brew.
So you don't just make coffee.
No, you brew a strong pot of coffee. Why do you think that small verb shift is so impactful in a professional setting?
Well, I'd say brewing implies a process. There's a level of control over the quality, maybe even a ritual.
That's it. It suggests you're deliberate, you're dedicated to detail. These are traits professionals want to signal.
So it's the difference between I made coffee and
I brewed the French press. The latter sounds like a conscious, quality-focused choice.
I really appreciate that. It turns a mundane task into a controlled ritual. And speaking of control, when you're stating a time, we need to get rid of the vagueness.
Absolutely. You just add adverbs like sharp, precisely, or on the dot.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. You might say, I start my reading at 7 a.m. precisely. It just conveys reliability and punctuality.
And if you're communicating a schedule to a team, that precision is, well, it's vital.
It is.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, moving from personal prep to professional attitude. The sources offered a phenomenal alternative to just saying start the day.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
They recommended the phrase, tackle the day head on.
That phrase is a game changer. It just conveys this immediate, proactive engagement.
It frames your day not as something to just survive,
but as a challenge to conquer. Using an active, almost aggressive verb like tackle in this context communicates drive, a real competitive edge.
And when we talk about this consistency, we shouldn't just rely on always or sometimes.
No, you need structural context. You embed the habit within a pattern using phrases like, as a rule, usually, or generally.
For instance.
For example, as a rule, I review my priorities before checking email.
It makes your routine sound predictable, structured, which is highly valued.
So as we transition toward the workspace, that structure is paramount. How do we make sure our routine description is coherent and not just a list of things?
We have to rely on sequencing words.
Right, the connector.
Don't underestimate the power of clear connectors like then, after that, following that, and finally.
They guide the listener through your logic. It makes it sound organized.
Okay, so let's talk about the journey to work. We need to move past I go to work by bus.
You commute by train, or you drive into the office. And if the journey is difficult, you can even use
Battle through traffic.
yes. That verb battle shows that you overcome obstacles just to get there, prepared.
And on arrival, whether it's a physical desk or a digital one, precision is key again.
If you work remotely, you log on. If you're physically there, you settle in at your desk. And instead of, I start working, you say.
I dive into my tasks.
Exactly. It suggests immediate focus and immersion.
That signals readiness, not just, attendance.
Yeah.
And the end of the day needs that same professional closure.
Right. So instead of, I finish work, professional language demands I clock out. Or,
I wrap up my day.
yeah, they're clean, defined endpoints. And for the transition to personal time, you wind down, maybe by reading, or if you have things left over.
You catch up on outstanding projects.
Yeah.
That verb catch up conveys this really efficient review and completion.
All of this shows control over your schedule.
Okay, so let's pivot entirely. Let's look at segment 2. Strategic digital fluency. The sources made it so clear that how we talk about tech is a major indicator of professional competence.
Oh, absolutely. We need specific technical verbs, not just general descriptions.
So if you're consuming online content, like a training video or a webinar.
You stream the content, you're not watching it on the internet.
Right, to stream.
It means accessing data directly without storing it. It's technically precise.
And when you're managing software or settings, there's another crucial verb, to toggle.
Explain that one.
To toggle just means to switch between two states, usually on and off or between different modes.
So you could say,
You might say, I toggled the high contrast setting for accessibility. It just sounds technically competent.
we also need terms for data management to distinguish between just, looking around and purposeful organization.
We do. If you're looking without a specific goal, you browse the files.
Okay.
But if you are making sure your data is identical across all your devices, your phone, laptop, the cloud, you sync them.
Using those verbs shows you actually understand the relationship between devices and data.
Exactly. Now let's move into a critical area the sources highlighted, diagnosing performance and quality. A professional doesn't just say, this app is bad.
No, they identify the problem with specific adjectives and nouns.
So if an application is easy to use without a manual, we don't call it easy to use.
We call it intuitive. Or if the design and structure are well planned for the user, we say it's user-friendly.
These are the terms you'd use in professional reviews and feedback.
And when things inevitably go wrong, we skip the vague complaints.
And use the industry standard terms.
Exactly. For a small, temporary technical fault, you use glitch or bug.
Is there a difference?
Using bug specifically suggests, the issue is a fault in the code itself.
Ah, okay. This leads right into the performance diagnosis framework, which was laid out so well in the sources.
We have to connect slow performance to specific causes. So if an app is draining your computer's resources...
Call it resource intensive.
Yes. And if your system or your connection is slow, you use the verb to lag.
To lag.
It means operating or moving slowly due to a processing or network delay. It's the professional diagnosis for slowness.
And the key is linking these terms.
Right. So if you're explaining why a large file upload is taking forever, you might say, the file is lagging because the operation is too resource intensive on our current bandwidth.
Ah, there's the connection. Bandwidth is the capacity for data transfer. So you've just gone from a complaint, it's slow, to a technical diagnosis.
We don't have enough bandwidth to support this resource-intensive upload. It sounds authoritative.
It really does.
And finally, on the architecture side, you need the term for the system that prevents unauthorized access.
The firewall.
The firewall. So if you can't access a corporate resource, you can say the internal firewall is likely blocking the port.
And using that specific vocabulary, it just signals that you understand the underlying infrastructure, not just the buttons you click.
Precisely. Which brings us to segment 3, digital boundaries and synthesis.
This part is about how we manage our digital lives and use summary language to convey complexity.
Time management in the modern world is tracked using screen time.
Right, the total duration spent looking at a device. And the strategic response to screen burnout is the
digital detox, a deliberate, finite break from your devices.
And when you're describing your own technical skill, please avoid, I am good with computers.
Please. The adjective you must use is tech-savvy, proficient and knowledgeable about technology.
That's the high-value adjective that upgrades your resume right there.
It's a huge shift in self-description. And we also need higher-level verbs for managing information. We need to move past delete and organize.
Okay, so what do we use?
We introduce two really powerful organizing verbs, to cull and to curate.
To cull.
To cull means to select and remove unwanted elements efficiently. For instance, culling outdated data from a database.
And to curate is even more powerful, I think.
Oh, it is. Curating means selecting, organizing, and presenting content using your expertise.
So if you curate a professional social media feed,
You're signaling knowledge, taste, and discernment. It's a high-level skill.
now the sources stress that the ultimate sign of professional communication is synthesis.
Mhm.
When someone asks about your routine, you have to avoid just reciting a list of actions.
You must use high-level summary phrases that communicate control and autonomy.
This is so crucial for managing professional perception. Instead of a long, boring list, you use one of the two key summary phrases the sources gave us.
The first is definitive. Generally, I adhere to a strict 9-to-5 schedule.
That verb, adhere, is so strong, it indicates compliance and discipline.
It does. And the second, for a more modern flexible worker, is my routine is quite flexible. I tend to work whenever I feel most productive.
I love that second phrase. It sounds like you're managing your energy, not just your time.
Which signals high autonomy and performance tracking.
And using these summaries prevents micromanagement. It establishes your status as a professional who is in control of their own structure.
It absolutely does. They demonstrate you have a strategy for your time, whether it's rigid or fluid.
That brings us to our final review. Let's summarize the 3 pillars of sounding authoritative when you talk about your daily life in tech.
Okay. Pillar 1 is about action. You must use active verbs
Replace the passive weak words like make or go.
with strong verbs that convey action and intent. We cover tackle, brood, dive into, stream, and toggle. It makes your communication dynamic.
Pillar 2 is about credibility. Be precise and descriptive.
Right. Use adjectives and adverbs to add depth and professional weight. Think intuitive, resource-intensive, sharp, and that consistency marker as a rule.
These words make you sound like an expert diagnostician of your own world.
And pillar 3 is structural. Use connectors and summaries.
Make sure your routine have a logical flow, using phrases like following that.
And use that high-level synthesis language, like stating that you adhere to a strict schedule rather than giving a blow-by-blow account.
Ultimately, the source material makes a really profound point here. Language proficiency in these areas, it's not a cosmetic upgrade.
No, it's a demonstration of control and professional competence in the modern global workplace.
So I guess the final thought is, if you're not using this specific high-value vocabulary,
If you are still saying, my app is slow, instead of diagnosing the lag and the resource-intensive nature of the software, what message are you sending?
yeah, what does that say about your engagement, your precision, your expertise?
You might be signaling a lack of technical depth without even realizing it.
So we encourage you, pick one new term from each segment right now.
Integrate to brew, the adjective intuitive, and the verb to curate into your conversations this week.
Upgrade your professional image today by demanding more precision from your own language.
Take control of your narrative. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.